Chains rattle broken, now we rise. Flag in my hand, stars burn the skies. Truth ain't dead, though the liars try. They scream loud, but the words all die. Guys watching hands, praise to the throne. Freedom ain't free, blood built this home. Continue freedom, keep it alive. Red, white, blue, we bleed to survive. God bless the brave who fight and strive. Continue freedom, keep it alive. Land of the free, ain't bending the knee. Truth in my veins, it's all I see. Patriots roar, no fear in the fight. Continue freedom, stand in the light.
Wow, what a day. A lot of stuff going on in the world. And we talked about it yesterday. I gave my prediction was 24 to 48 hours. I was I was off by it was something like 8 hours later that we were striking Iran. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to go from the president's speech through some of the events of today. And I'm going to give you my questions, the questions that I have for President Trump, for his administration. And I want your all's thoughts on this as well. You can give me down in the chat. Give me a thumbs up if you're with it, if you're a thumbs down, if you're not, just so I know where you guys stand. But let's go ahead and get to the main point, which is what I threw up on the thumbnail for tonight. President Trump released his official statement that Khamenei, the Ayatollah, was taken out. So I'm going to read this to you guys, and this will be for the folks I'm starting to post on audio. So I'll read it out. But Khamenei, one of the most evil people in history, is dead. This is not only justice for the people of Iran, but for all great Americans and those people from many countries throughout the world that have been killed or mutilated by Khamenei and his gang of bloodthirsty thugs. He was unable to avoid our intelligence and highly sophisticated tracking systems, and working closely with Israel, there was not a thing he or the other leaders that have been killed along with him could do. This is the single greatest chance for the Iranian people to take back their country. We are hearing that many of their IRGC military and other security and police forces no longer want to fight and are looking for immunity from us. As I said last night, now they can have immunity. Later, they only get death. Hopefully, the IRGC and police will peacefully merge with the Iranian patriots and work together as a unit to bring back the country to the greatness it deserves. That process should soon be starting in that, not only the death of Khamenei, but the country has been, in only one day, very much destroyed and even obliterated. The heavy and pinpoint bombing, however, will continue uninterrupted throughout the week or as long as necessary to achieve our objective of peace throughout the Middle East and indeed the world. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. And I have conflicting feelings about this. I will be perfectly honest with you guys, and I'll explain to you why. But I did like the speech. I want to play the speech for everybody. If you haven't seen it, you kind of have to. You have to listen to it. But I'll play that in just a minute. The key leaders as well. So it's not just Khomeini that was taken out. Reports have now been that as many as 40 of the top Iranian leaders were killed during the U.S. attack on Iran. This is a big deal. The reports that I have seen also today, and I've been following this very closely today, were that the daylight strike. This is an unusual thing, or it was typically an unusual thing, were daytime strikes, and they did this because the intelligence they had said that all these key leaders were going to be together. And I've heard as many as 30 bombs dropped in one location. I guess that's ensuring some level of destruction. And they found out that, hey, they're all in one place. We got to go for it now. So the timeline changed. Again, a lot of the details around this are going to come out later on. This is in the first 24 hours of all this happening. And one of the things that gets played a lot, and look, it's A, to garner support, but B, for people to kind of understand the situation over there, is the populace. This is one of the most important things. The populace is the people, the citizens of Iran. What do they think of this? And there is a lot of this. There's a lot of cheering. There's video after video of it. I mean, one right after the other. People are, and it's not just there. This is happening. I'll play some clips here in a little while of people in Los Angeles, of all places. In Los Angeles, there were people in the streets cheering, whooping and hollering. They were happy. And CNN was actually forced to post this. I'll show you the video in a minute. While all this is going on, Mike Walls was at the UN and he was addressing them. And he looked directly at the ambassador to Iran and he gave him this statement. Here we go. Let's listen to this. There's two clips I'm going to play for you on this one.
American hostage.
Oops, let me turn it up.
Hostage has suffered. Our ships fired upon dozens of times in the Red Sea. Iran has armed and financed militant organizations that undermine lawful governments and destabilize an already fragile region. Iran's continued pursuit of advanced missile capabilities, coupled with its refusal to abandon nuclear ambitions despite diplomatic opportunities, presents a grave and mounting danger. The international community has long affirmed a simple and necessary principle. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. That principle is not a matter of politics, it's a matter of global security. And to that end, the United States is taking lawful actions. This body, the United States Security Council, has acted repeatedly on this threat 20 years ago, starting in 2006.
Okay. That's the first segment. The second one is him addressing Trump's speech, which I promise I am going to play in a minute because it is very important. Everybody needs to hear it.
Trump said today, and he spoke directly to the Iranian people. He said, quote, "To the proud, great people of Iran, I saw tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. The entire world has witnessed the regime's wholesale slaughter of innocent civilians. The sad irony is that this same regime will attempt to lecture us today about human rights and the rule of law. Its presence here in this council makes a mockery of this body. But where the UN lacks moral clarity, the United States of America will maintain it. Indiscriminate and unprovoked attacks by the Iranian regime today against our regional partners, Kuwait, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Qatar, Jordan, and others, reinforce precisely why such actions are necessary. The regime has not only struck military assets, but civilian infrastructure. As president.
Okay. So, hey, thanks so much, Jay Witt. We got a super chat from the great Jay Witt. Welcome. Keep up the excellent commentary, sir. Grace and peace. Grace and peace to you too, my friend. Grace and peace to you too as well. I appreciate you being here, man. It's great. We got some crazy stuff going on. So you heard him, by the way, he was talking about the other countries. We're going to get into the specifics of that as well, but I've kind of gotten ahead of myself. Let me go back and I'm going to hit the speech from President Donald Trump so that everybody can hear it. Let me pull this one up here. Here we go. The Trump speech. So this is the one. This is what I saw as soon as I woke up this morning. This was all over my feed. The terminology, the language that he uses is incredibly important, and I'm going to stop it when I get to the key component here, but let's listen.
The United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel. In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many died. Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels in international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. From Lebanon to Yemen and Syria to Iraq, the regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was brutal, something like the world has never seen before. Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular, my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again. They can never have a nuclear weapon.
I'm going to pause right here. That this isn't the original part I was going to pause on, but something I need to highlight. He is talking about the entire history, the 47-year history of Iran. This is how he's looking at this. This is an unbroken chain for 47 years of them being the #1 state sponsor of terror, or that grew them to become the #1 state sponsor of terror. He goes all the way back to when they started doing this in the beginning. And this is how he's approaching it. It's the onslaught. It's the constant. When we listen to a lot of commentators online, they are looking at a soda straw. They have TikTok brain. They are looking at things in the here and now, and they don't see the pattern. They don't see the history behind it. And that is what Donald Trump is looking at. Let's keep going.
That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons, and we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We are going to annihilate their Navy. We are going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces, and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans.
And this is him hearkening back to the war on terror, the global war on terror. And GWAT, when we were in, when we were in Iraq, this is where the EFPs came from that we were constantly encountering. The EFPs came from Iran. Iran was funding the opposition to the U.S. inside of Iraq. We can debate whether or not we should have been in Iraq. I say we shouldn't have, and a lot of other service members agree with me. But the fact remains, they used that as an opportunity to insert themselves into that conflict and fight somewhat of a proxy war. At the very least, they were supporting the people that we were fighting. So Trump sees that. Trump knows that. Trump's been to Walter Reed, and that is something I'm assuming. I'm making some assumptions here, but this is something burned into his memory.
And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon. This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces. I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration, and there is no military on earth even close to its power, strength, or sophistication. My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region. Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war.
And this is something we're going to talk about in a minute. We're already getting some footage. Not that they have had any reported casualties, or at least no reported deaths, but service members right now across the globe are being attacked. Iran is, we'll talk about it in detail, but Iran is conducting these sporadic attacks at all the U.S. Facilities across the Middle East.
But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We ask God to protect all of our heroes in harm's way, and we trust that, with his help, the men and women of the armed forces will prevail. We have the greatest in the world, and they will prevail. To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or, in the alternative, face certain death. So, lay down your arms. You will be treated fairly with total immunity, or you will face certain death. Finally, to the great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take.
Listen to who he's talking to here.
This will be probably your only chance for generations. For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight. Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless you all.
That last part with his plea to the people of Iran. We're doing this. Look, it's going to get debated over in the coming weeks and months whether this should have happened at all. But Donald Trump is saying, we are giving you our support. We are doing this. We are taking out this regime that 80% of Iranians do not support. 80% do not like did not like the Ayatollah. I could say that in the past tense now, thanks to these strikes, but they did not like the Ayatollah. They did not like the theocracy. They did not like the changes that had happened since the years of the Shah. So Trump says, we're doing this. Now you guys have to step up. And he makes a plea to them. This is different. This is different than us going and doing a regime change somewhere and installing someone. We're saying, people, we're taking out we're cutting off the head of the snake. Now it's up to you what you do with the carcass that's flopping around on the ground. It's a very different approach, the way he's doing this. Now, I see it down in the comments. You guys know that if you've been on here before, which I see a lot of my regulars down here, you guys know I'm going to get to comments in a second. But I saw comments about the far right, some of the people over on the right, and their criticisms of Trump. And some of it is just, it's downright vile, the stuff they're saying. Again, you can agree, disagree with what he's doing, but somebody mentioned Dave Smith, and yeah, we'll get to his tweet in a minute. So just to reiterate the point, there are U.S. service members. This is a video of a U.S. service member who was, let's see, this one was where was this one? So this is the Patriot Air Defense. This is Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar. So these are soldiers down in bunkers. Missed.
Oh, fuck!
Sorry for the language. It's soldiers. There's going to be language. I've got several clips, and I did not bleep them. I'm pulling them straight from X. So if you got kids around, earmuff. But we do have soldiers in harm's way because of this. Yes, it is a part of war. That's you know, this is part of it. But it was brought up by Ambassador Walls that they're not just going after military targets. Iran has started to attack all of its neighbors, everybody around. This is the Kuwait International Airport. They hit it with an Iranian suicide drone, which I'm going to show you some video of here in a minute. But these suicide drones have been launched against civilian targets. It's wild and rampant. And we have to consider too, the sectarian differences between the Sunni and the Shia. In fact, I saw a video today. I didn't pull it for the show, but the Taliban leader was saying, don't support Iran. They're just as bad as Israel and the United States. I mean, crazy stuff. Sectarian issues are very, very, very real. These are the these are the countries that they have struck so far. This is, here we go. Let's pull this up. So obviously Israel, Jordan, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. It's like somebody with a itchy trigger finger started punching buttons, and that's not how it works, but they just started punching buttons and launching them at lottie-dottie everybody. This is what a lot of people say about us having bases forward, that we are welcoming something like this. Because these strikes are happening on their soil, our base on their soil, that it brings people into the conflict. It's a valid critique. We've got bases all over the Middle East. In pretty much every country over there, we've got some sort of a presence. Now, one of the questions that I have for Donald Trump, and we've got plenty more to cover tonight, but one of the questions that I have with him is, what is the end game? Somebody mentioned it in the live stream last night. Do we have an end game? And I'm sure they do. Trump is not popping off at the hip. This is the argument, or not the argument, but this is the point that a lot of people try to make, is that Trump is just doing this willy-nilly. All of a sudden, he decided to send this massive naval presence over into the Middle East, and he's just doing it on a whim. This is something that's been going on, obviously, for months. It takes a lot of lead time to move that many assets into position, to have a plan for how you're going to attack those things, to coordinate all of the intel that comes along with it. So he's not doing this willy-nilly. But one person that we say who's going to take over in the end. Who's the person that's going to take over? Well, this is who a lot of people say will be the next leader of Iran. And this is the Crown Prince Pahlavi. He's the eldest son of the former Shah of Iran. He made a speech. I'm going to play this for you guys. Whether this is realistic, I don't know. I don't know. I've heard Patrick Bet-David talk about it. He's Iranian or Iranian. I don't know the right way to say it. I usually say Iranian. I'm from East Tennessee. But, Iranians, a lot of people think that this would be the person who would be stepping in. I don't know if that's the case or not. But he's currently exiled from Iran. But let me play this video and listen to what he's saying. You have to read it. I apologize.
لحظاتی سرنوشت‌ساز پیش روی ماست. کمکی که رئیس جمهور ایالات متحده به مردم شجاع ایران وعده داده بود، اکنون رسیده است. این یک مداخله بشردوستانه است و هدف آن جمهوری اسلامی دستگاه سرکوب و ماشین کشتار آن است، نه کشور و ملت بزرگ ایران. اما با وجود رسیدن این کمک، پیروزی نهایی همچنان به دست ما رقم خواهد خورد.
So a couple of things. One, he called this a humanitarian mission. His words, he said this is a humanitarian mission. And while we have this assistance, the final victory will still be achieved by us. He is echoing what Donald Trump was saying, that the onus is on the people of Iran to step up and I don't want to say pick up the torch because that's not what they're doing, but light a new one.
این ما ملت ایران هستیم که در این آخرین نبرد کار را تمام خواهیم کرد. زمان بازگشت به خیابانها نزدیک است.
The time to return to the streets is approaching. This is a call to action.
اکنون که جمهوری اسلامی در حال فروپاشی است، پیام من به نیروهای نظامی، انتظامی و امنیتی کشور روشن است. شما سوگند خورده اید حافظ ایران و ملت ایران باشید، نه حافظ جمهوری اسلامی و سرکردگانش.
This plead to nationality is a big thing. The people over there that, in my experience, the people who are, well, I say in my experience, over there, there is a national identity. I don't know about Iran in particular. I can just say from that region, people are very tied to those sorts of things. And he is making a plea of national strength, of being of showing your loyalty to the nation, not to the Ayatollah, not to the Islamic regime that was running it. To me, it sounds like it's a plea to, you would support America, not the Republican Party, right? That's your primary concern is America and the people of America. It's not to a particular party. So his language is very, very directed. It's very poignant and it's very specific. Let's keep going.
وظیفه شما دفاع از مردم است، نه دفاع از رژیمی که با سرکوب و جنایت میهن ما را به گروگان گرفته است. به ملت بپیوندید و به یک گذار باثبات و امن کمک کنید. در غیر این صورت با کشتی در هم شکسته خامنه‌ای و رژیمش غرق خواهید شد. و پیام من به رئیس جمهور ایالات متحده پرزیدنت ترامپ این است: ملت شریف ایران با وجود سرکوب و کشتار وحشیانه این رژیم نزدیک به 2 ماه با دلاوری ایستادگی کرد. اینک از شما می‌خواهم بیشترین احتیاط ممکن را برای حفظ جان غیر نظامیان و هم‌میهنانم به کار ببرید.
This is a call to protect, because this is where these things get dicey. The collateral damage can easily turn people against the very help that you're supposed to be there providing. And that is the risk of this type of engagement, that the collateral damage could have people thinking that they are being targeted, even though that's not the case. So he's telling Donald Trump specifically, please be careful about the collateral damage. Please watch out for the people in
مردم
Iran.
ایران متحدان طبیعی شما و جهان آزادند و یاری شما در سخت‌ترین دوره تاریخ معاصر ایران را فراموش نخواهند کرد. و به شما هم‌میهنان عزیزم در ایران، در این ساعتها و روزهای حساس بیش از هر زمان دیگر باید بر هدف نهایی خود متمرکز بمانیم: باز پس گرفتن ایران. من از شما می‌خواهم که در حال حاضر در خانه‌های خود بمانید و آرامش و امنیت خود را حفظ کنید. هوشیار و آماده باشید تا در زمان مناسب که به طور دقیق به اطلاع شما خواهم رساند برای اقدام نهایی به خیابان‌ها بازگردید. پیام‌های من را از طریق شبکه‌های اجتماعی و رسانه‌های ماهواره‌ای دنبال کنید. اگر در اینترنت و ماهواره اختلال ایجاد شد، از طریق امواج رادیویی با شما در تماس خواهم بود. ما به پیروزی نهایی بسیار نزدیکیم. میخواهم هرچه زودتر در کنار شما باشم تا با هم ایران را پس بگیریم و دوباره بسازیم. پاینده ایران.
So he's saying that from afar, he will be the one coordinating to these people. He will be talking to these people through the internet, through the radio, through social media, directing them when it's time to come out and rise up against the regime. This is interesting. This is very, very interesting because, is the guy taking it upon himself to do that, or is this something that's being coordinated behind the scenes with the U.S.? And that's a question that I have. I don't know the answer to it. But he's clearly saying, I'm now the voice for the uprising. I'm the voice for the resistance. And when the time comes, I will tell you when to rise up. So, I've often said that with a lot of these countries, just like we did, right? We did it when we were being oppressed by an extreme power. We stood up on our own, and we did it ourselves. We fought the world's greatest superpower at the time in combat, and we won our independence. Why don't more people do it? In this instance, we're injecting ourselves into the situation, but we're doing it by, well, it's done now. We're doing it now. There's some people trying to stop it, and I'll show you those people. But are the people, the 80% who say that they don't support the Ayatollah, are they going to rise up and take their country back? That's a question. Now, there are no indications. There have been no reports that there are going to be troops on the ground. This is another thing that I was concerned about. Let me play this clip from Fox News. Here we go. Let's play it.
Because I know moms and dads out there who have enlisted sons, daughters. What does this mean for the future of our military?
Well, I think it's a great question. I think that the naval assets, the Air Force, they're running point here on this operation. There are no indications at all that there are going to be U.S. Soldiers on the ground inside Tehran or inside Iran. There may be some special ops that happen, but we have no indication that that's even in the works. Right now, this is a campaign from the air, and what has to happen on the ground is going to be, to the president's point, Iranian-based and Iranian-driven. But I was in Iraq 13 times, and I saw a lot of people taken down by those IEDs, and they were getting increasingly deadly and increasingly deceptive as far as how they couldn't even be detected. Some of them were made in plastic by the Iranians so that the detectors never saw them, and that's why you had so many people lose limbs that ended up in Walter Reed and others. President Trump talks about that a lot, about those times going to Walter Reed and how it affected him when he talks about taking out Soleimani. You look at the military bases in the region, and that's really the threat from missile attacks. We've already seen some of that. Fortunately, nothing has struck or caused any major damage. But that's really the threat from Iran, because they have thousands and thousands of them, and one by one, these launchers are being taken out by the Israelis and the U.S. This targeting has been planned for a long time. This is not just something that pops up. You have the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and others that probably had more than 1,000 target lists. Right now, we're seeing command and control and leadership being targeted, and specifically the Ayatollah and the Iranian president. But I bet over coming days, you're going to see a lot more different targets throughout Iran.
Okay, so with no troops on the ground, that I'm okay with. I worry about this getting to a full-scale conflict, and that's something I'm not particularly prepared for. But like they were saying, this, let me back it up here a little bit. All of these bases in the area, like we were talking about earlier, these are places that Iran did strike. And some of these countries have come to, they've sided with the U.S. They say, we're with the USA. One of those is Saudi Arabia, Qatar as well. And I've got something funny I'm going to show you from Dinesh D'Souza that he posted. I guess you could probably guess who he was talking about when he made a post about Qatar. But these countries are siding with the U.S. and saying, look, these people that Iran had no right to strike our country. They have struck hotels, civilian targets, as well as military installations. The 5th Fleet headquarters was struck. That was something that was reported earlier in the day. The U.S. Naval Fleet headquarters, and that was in, I believe, Bahrain. Another positive to this, as far as positives can go, is that the response has not been as aggressive as they thought it would be. The last number I heard were 800 rockets that had been launched, rockets, ballistic missiles. The number was around 2,000, I believe, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but they have about 2,000 in their possession. 800 have been launched. Is it true, or is it a fact that we have taken out enough of theirs that that was part of it? The preemptive strikes were enough to weaken their ability to respond like we would have thought they would have responded. The overall number of rockets and ballistic missiles fired has been much smaller. Was the fact that we jumped right into it? Did Trump, had he leveraged it enough that he thought, hey, they think we've still got more time to negotiate, so they're resting on their laurels. And with the timeline being moved up because of the intelligence they had, there was minimal preparation for it. I don't know if that's the case or not. I tend to think that Iran is, especially since all this conflict has been going on with Israel, that they would be on high alert all the time. There's a lot of questions that'll be answered, I think, in the near future. But this is kind of, let me play this reporting on their on Iran's
the same
response.
Capabilities they had during the 12-day war last June. Oftentimes, they were overwhelming Israel's missile defense systems, and you saw these ballistic missiles here in Tel Aviv. And I'm just listening to these interceptions on the outskirts of the city as we're talking now, Brett. Those missiles are being intercepted even at this moment. But last year, when they were able to overwhelm missile defense systems, these missiles were slamming into buildings in Tel Aviv. More than 24 people were killed. Rescue workers at the scene digging through the debris and the rubble. We've not yet seen those scenes this time. That's in part because of the coordination at the highest level. President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ensuring that there were months of preparation ahead of this operation to not only prepare offensively, but also defensively. The second thing has to do with the immediate strikes early this morning. We reviewed some video from the Israeli Defense Forces showing how they went after Iran's ballistic missile launching positions in the western part of their country. These are the missile launchers that they use to target central Israel. They largely are protected. Sometimes they bring them out from underground. The Israelis were using drones along the coast just next to the Persian Gulf to monitor this situation in the days ahead. And they want to, every single time they see a missile or a launcher be taken above ground, hit it right away. And that's exactly what they have done. And this current hour, it has suppressed a lot of the incoming fire. We know, according to Israeli officials, they say dozens of Iranian missiles have rained down on cities today. But again, that is far less than what we saw last summer when the war erupted.
I'm going to play one other clip. The drones that everybody's been talking about, the drone strikes that they've been doing. This is the I believe it's called the Shahed or Shahid. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but this is one of the strikes that was recorded in Bahrain, and you can see it flying in here. These are the same drones that they were selling. I think the number was, well, here I've got it actually right here. So we're getting wild cell phone footage straight up, right in the middle of all this chaos. These are the same type of drones that were used against the Ukrainians. And Zelensky said that about 57,000 of these drones were used in the conflict. So Russia is buying these. These BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, they are, well, I guess you could say in cahoots. They're kind of supporting one another, but they were buying their drones from Iran. Iran is producing these. And Iran was launching these at civilian targets. They hit I think it was a Hyatt hotel. They've struck apartment buildings. There's video of it out there. And these are the same drones that have been harassing the Ukrainians. And this kind of made me think, I was going to bring it up last night. I didn't, but 80% of Iran's oil is bought by China. So China, once Iran is cut off, this is almost like a mosaic of decision making from Donald Trump. That we've got Venezuela, and down in Venezuela, he boots out. We boot out Maduro. We take out Maduro. Russia, China, Iran, all these people were trying to do business in our hemisphere down in Venezuela. They're weakened there. It's a supply of oil. Now with Iran, this is also going to weaken China's supply of oil. This is a double whammy. So aside from Iran being the number one state sponsor of terror, this is also going to impact, their economy, the resources they have at their disposal that they've been getting from other countries. There's second and third order effects to this outside of just the military action. And we knew that the claim was going to be that what Donald Trump is doing is illegal. And this has also been reported. This is just a photo, but Eric Doherty posted this, that Marco Rubio is with the president. This was earlier today, right now in Mar-a-Lago, and a task force is being set up for stranded Americans. Rubio also briefed Congress as required, which, as he says, is debunking the narrative the Trump admin is doing this illegally. I think that there's going to be a lot of pushback. Thomas Massie has already said that Thomas Massie, Ro Khanna, other people are trying to convene Congress to basically vote on whether or not Trump is even allowed to do this. There's pushback from the right. There's pushback from the left. And the left, we can remember the Ukrainian pins that the left was wearing during that war. The left all of a sudden became the pro-war party. But I do have questions. The succession. What is success for them? Is it regime change in a place like Iran is horribly difficult. Horribly difficult. It's not easy. This isn't some tiny little country. This is a massive country with a very diverse population, people spread out all over the place. Regime change is not like who was it I heard? Somebody made the analogy that it was, so it's not my analogy, but it was like people think that it's like changing the coach on a football team. And that's not the way it is. That's not how it works. We're going to see, let's see. We're going to see a lot of the rah-rah USA stuff, which is fine. This happens every time we get amped up about, us winning a war. Dave Rubin made this post. He posted AI video is going to be everywhere. The Associated Press, Fress, it's a parody account. They made this post and they said, breaking, district judge overturns Khamenei's death. This was reposted by, I think, might have been Michael Knowles. And some people were having some fun with the Candace thing. This is David Keys. I don't know who David Keys is, but he says, call me crazy, but did Erica Kirk instigate this war to get all the attention off the fact that in third grade, her classmate's father's brother's wife's third cousin, once removed, called her Mofar, her Farfar? Why is everyone so afraid of asking questions? What are they hiding? And then the one that was from Dinesh D'Souza, he says, if Qatar joins the U.S. and Israel in attacking Iran, whose side is Tucker going to be on? So people are having fun with it, but I do look, honestly, guys, I look at the second and third order effects, the lives that are impacted by this, the service members that are overseas. And, somebody asked me today, a buddy of mine called and said, well, he's very blunt. And he said, well, what are your thoughts? And I said, well, I'm very conflicted. But at the end of the day, I still trust Donald Trump. I trust Donald Trump to make the right decision. He's not going to bat 1,000 on everything, and he hasn't batted 1,000 since he's been in office. But do I trust him in this situation? I do, because we as the public, we get about 10% of the actual information, maybe 20% if we're lucky. And we're making decisions and we're having our conversations based on 25% of the actual data. Whatever Trump had as the guy who does not want war, for him to move forward with this conflict, which it's not full-blown war, but it's basically war. He had to have had a lot of data to make that decision. And, in one breath, people will say that Donald Trump is not beholden to Tucker Carlson said it in one of his interviews. Oh, he is not bought and paid for by these people. But in the next breath, he'll say it's evil, or he'll say that it's the Jewish lobbyists that are making him do it. We just have to be aware of the fact that Donald Trump is not that person. Donald Trump is not the guy beholden to these people. And he has proven that time and time and time again. And we definitely have to tell people, if you are following the nut jobs on the right, you are getting such a wildly skewed view of this whole conflict that you're better off unfollowing them. Just disregard their opinion on this. It does not matter, because if you come out like Jake Shields and say that you're hoping Iran has a nuclear missile, Jake Hinkle said, give Iran the nuke. And then Milo Yiannopoulos saying, giving, I think it was translated. So I suppose that Grok translated this from Arabic, to preserve the Ayatollah Khomeini. Nick Fuentes came out and said the people that are rising up against Iran, I'm not going to play it because of the language. I try to keep it PG-13, guys. And he said that the 80% of the people in that country rising up against the Ayatollah are traitors to their country, or just flat out Dave Smith saying Trump is a traitor. You're getting something that's so wildly skewed, it's probably not worth listening to. On this channel, you guys know this, we approach things with nuance. Nuance exists in this world. As much as we would love for it to be black and white, we understand nuance. And we understand accountability. That if Donald Trump gets into this conflict, or he's gotten us into this conflict, and if it starts to go south, we've got to be honest. We have to be honest and criticize it. In this moment, I support it. I support what he's doing. I know if you're looking at it from a historical standpoint, yes, I have friends. I had soldiers who lost limbs because of Iran and the EFPs that they were pumping into our conflict. Are they the thorn in the side of the Middle East and of the developed world? Yeah, they are. You pick your Shia terror organization, and they're getting their money and resources from Iran. Another one as well, I'm going to play this, that you got to bring her up, right? This is so wildly false, like the bulk of the content you get from Candace Owens. She says, no one should sign up for the United States military outside of those who wish to join the IDF. I can't think of a more insulting, disgusting comment to make than to say fighting for your country in the U.S. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines is working for a foreign country. This is dreg. This is nonsense. She says, go home and defend your neighborhoods instead. Let the Mark Levins and Ben Shapiro's send their offspring instead. We are an occupied nation. This is why Charlie was murdered. If you get your ideology from someone this crazy, you're going to be on the wrong side of history, but you're getting bad data. Let's just be honest about that. Now, people on the right, look, Thomas Massey, we knew he was going to be opposed to this. This is not America first. When Congress reconvenes, I will work with Ro Khanna to force a congressional vote on war with Iran. The Constitution requires a vote, and your representative needs to be on record as opposing or supporting this war. Gavin Newsom came out and he says that this is an interesting take from Gavin Newsom. The corrupt and repressive Iranian regime must never have nuclear weapons. The leadership of Iran must go. But that does not justify the President of the United States engaging in an illegal, dangerous war that will risk the lives of our American service members and our friends without justification to the American people. Donald Trump has given his justification, his understanding of this situation. He's looking in the long term. The reason he said to the Iranian people that this is a once-in-a-generation opportunity is because when Trump gets out of office, when we lose the majority, when we get back to, if we ever go back to that uniparty system, if we get back to what we had under a Joe Biden, then they will be able to run roughshod over the region, they will continue to hold back any sort of development. I also think, honestly, I do think that there's a component to this of the rebuilding in Gaza. When it comes to the rebuilding in Gaza, you think about the insurgents that operate in that area. This is my assumption or the way I'm thinking about it. What are you trying to do in the region? Well, you want to rebuild Gaza in some way. It has to be rebuilt. Who are the ones that are going to be interfering with that? Well, it's going to be the very people that Iran funds. So if you eliminate the funding, if you eliminate the money, the resources, the ability for them to get weapons, the rebuilding of Gaza becomes substantially easier. Is that a component of it? I don't know. I tend to think that it might be, but that's just my guess. And MTG came out. She was obviously very, very mad at Donald Trump. He betrayed her. And she made a post saying that, well, we can't attack Iran and work on stuff back here in the U.S. This is the problem. Walking and chewing gum at the same time. Donald Trump has proven that he is capable of doing that. We have to as a country. We have to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. It is not a zero-sum game that if something but just because she sees the world through a soda straw or these other people see it through their little soda straw, and the only thing at the end of that soda straw is Israel, that all the other stuff isn't happening. Because, when your worldview, Megyn Kelly said it the other day, she called people like us, we have this myopic view of the world or whatever. Look, we see that there's a lot of things that are happening. Just because this conflict is going on doesn't mean HHS is going to stop taking the poison out of our food. It doesn't mean that we're not still working on our economy in the background. Scott Bessent doesn't sit at home just because we're in a conflict with Iran. But these people who they can't look past, they can't see anything else in their world. This is how they look at it. So I know I'm throwing out a lot of warnings, beware, the doom and gloom sort of thing, but it's very real. Let's see. Here's one. I'm going to play this video. I think this might be the long version. This was Charlie Kirk on it. And in fact, I'm going to play. There's several clips out there. People are revising history. Gary from Paramount Tactical made a great post. I pulled it up, and he pulled up one of Charlie's previous posts. Let me pull this up here. Shout out Gary over at Paramount Tactical. Go follow him on YouTube and X. And follow Jay Witt, by the way. Jay Witt was down here. Go follow. I didn't say it when he pulled it up. I was vibing. So I'm sorry, Jay Witt, if you're still on. But go follow Jay Witt as well. He was our super chatter earlier. He's got a great channel on YouTube. I was in on his one of his videos today. I get enthralled by it. So go follow Jay Witt. Here, I'll pull him back up. There you go. I got to shout out. These guys helped me out. They've been very gracious with their channels. So this was Charlie Kirk back in the day, and he said Iran. This was in June of 2025. Iran gave President Trump no choice. For a decade, he has been adamant that Iran will never get a nuclear weapon. Iran decided to forego diplomacy in pursuit of a bomb. This is a surgical strike operated perfectly. President Trump acted with prudence and decisiveness. There's a video clip here, and there's other videos. So Charlie had he understood nuance. Let me just put it that way. Charlie Kirk understood nuance. This is one of the videos that Charlie was talking about. Iran
was a great power. And then Iran.
Here we go. Hang on.
What do you actually know about Iran? Persia was a great power. And then Iran took a turn for the worst. Interestingly enough, there was the Shah of Iran, and then the Shah was displaced by Mossadegh. Mossadegh was democratically elected. Now, to be very fair, the United States and Britain got rid of Mossadegh, and then we reinstalled the Shah. Bad decision, which then led to the Iranian Revolution, where radical Islam took over Iran. Look at some of these pictures of what Iran used to be. It was wealthy, it was proud, it was strong. The Persians are wonderful people. Some of my closest friends are Persians, and I love the Persian people. And we should have a heart for the Persian people to try and have a better future. Regime change is very difficult to talk about. I actually don't like talking about regime change. It's very complicated, but understand that there can be brighter days ahead for the Iranian people. And just look at some of these pictures of how beautiful Iran used to be, how beautiful Tehran used to be. And it's very easy to kind of sit in your Western armchair and be like, oh, Israel's terrible. Well, you're able to enjoy free speech rights and a lot of rights here in the West that Iran used to have. And if you are serious about actually protecting human rights, you should want to make Iran Western again.
So he also has, in full transparency and honesty, he has a video out there talking about, maybe this is where I heard the thing about changing, being a football coach, as my memory is thinking. It's an older video where he was talking about regime change and the difficulties of it. And it's very true. Have we ever been successful? When was the last time we as a country were successful at regime change? We get ourselves into it all the time. We do it all the time, always thinking it's the, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, right? I don't know if you get the point. I think it was somebody attributed that to Mark Twain, although he never said it, or somebody anyway, it doesn't matter. But doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. We've done this with regime change, and we've been largely unsuccessful. Is it all of a sudden going to be better now? Donald Trump has been a critic of regime change in the past and how we're bad at it. So I think that the opportunity for success is the onus that President Trump is putting on the people of Iran, not on the bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. I think that's the differentiating factor in all of this, is that, hey, you people, you have been held down by an authoritarian theocratic regime. We're going to get rid of that. Now you guys do something about it. And I think that those types of words have never been spoken. We always say we're doing this for the people, but there's never a plea to the people to be the ones responsible for fixing the country. That's where we come in and we say, oh, we can do this. It's like we tried nation building in Iraq and we sucked at it. I was doing nation building. 1 minute we're shooting artillery mortars and getting in firefights, and the next minute we're building wells or digging wells and buying desks for schools and backpacks and all this stuff. We suck at nation building. The U.S. Army is not good at it. We did our best, but it's not what we're built for. Trump is saying, hey, this is not what we're doing. It's up to you, the Iranian people. Let's see. This clip. Let me pull this up here. This is one of my favorite people, Victor Davis Hanson. This is an older clip, if I'm not mistaken. Well, maybe this is a newer clip. This is his confidence in Donald Trump. I'm gonna play this for you guys. I love listening to this dude. He's kind of got that comforting, mentor type personality. I really like it, but here we go. Let's listen.
Doing that seems herky-jerky has an ultimate strategic purpose is to diminish the power of the Chinese and to turn Russia and China against each other and to have a cultural revolution, counter-revolution in the United States that makes our adversaries think that we are serious and dangerous, whether it's closing the border or having immigration reform or pressuring Mexico about fentanyl or recalibrating the Pentagon, you name it, and are economically more powerful. Instead, they just say, well, he tweeted this or his tariffs. But actually, there is a plan, and it's working.
Yes, it sure is.
Almost everything that he's doing.
This is the point that he's made. Well, you can kind of get the point he's making, is that when it seems chaotic, when it seems like out of the blue, Trump is doing this, Trump did that, he has vision. He's always had vision. That's the only way you can be successful in business. It's the only way you can build the empire that he did, the real estate empire. He has to be forward thinking. He has to see 2, 3, 4 steps ahead. And while the rest of the world is playing chess, he's playing 3D chess or 4D chess. And he's got a vision. We elected the guy to carry out his vision. It's the vision we voted for. We did not want war. He has ended a lot of wars. He's negotiated a lot of peace. Some conflicts I was talking to, again, the same person I was talking to earlier today who said, who was asking me what my thoughts on this whole thing. He said, he hadn't done anything. We haven't come to a final conclusion in the Ukraine-Russia war. We haven't got a final conclusion for the war with Israel and Hamas. True. But it's only been a year. And people think that, Trump made a promise. This was part of his undoing, is that he made a promise. He was going to end the war in Ukraine overnight. In 24 hours, I'll have that thing settled. I'm going to do the same thing with Israel and Hamas. I'm going to end it overnight. And he didn't. He overpromised and underdelivered on those things. But it's only been a year. And a year, when you're talking about this sort of stuff, is a very short period of time. I look at his presidency holistically, and I'm not going to just, throw him under the bus now in the first less than 24 hours of all this stuff going on in Iran. I'm not going to throw him under the bus for that. I trust him. I do. And I leave it open for him to disappoint me, but I hope that he doesn't. And so far, he hasn't. This is my opinion. Again, you guys know, if you've watched this channel for a while, I don't like war. But the reality is, in all of human history, war has been the norm. Peace has been a luxury. We're humans. It's a fallen world. We fight each other, sometimes over really, really stupid stuff. Sometimes it's for good reason, because people are being oppressed. But I don't mean we have to like it. And I don't like it. So I'm not to the glee, hey, happy, that sort of thing. I am, we'll see. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what happens. All right, I'm going to get to some comments. I will keep tabs on all this going on. I don't stream on Sundays. I did the Sunday special, you guys. I'm not going to have a Sunday special this Sunday. I haven't recorded one. But that is something I'm going to start doing. So it'll be next week before I have another stream. Grace and peace. Back to the great Jay Witt. Let's see. Hey, everyone. I hope you were going to... Hey, there you go. I'm here, Megan. Let's see. Yeah, it was. I think I put this up during the speech. TX Mother, it was a great, great speech. It was short. It was succinct. It was to the point. 47 took out 47. That's a great, hey, I didn't even think about that. 47 took out 47 years of evil today. Yeah. I want to know how he's going to fill this how is he going to avoid the power vacuum? That's the other piece of this. I hate to be a naysayer. And I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to question this as much as I can. Just to, you guys get to hear me spill out all my thoughts about all this. And these are the questions that I ask in my head. And, power vacuums always happen after a strike like this. How are we going to avoid it? He died like a dog. Who was it that he took out when he said died like a dog? Oh, man. In 26, Iran shall be free from the IRGC, and the time is now. God bless everyone involved in the liberation of the Iranian people. There you go. Yeah, hopefully. I think, did you guys correct me if I'm wrong? Did PBD, didn't he have him on his podcast at one point? And by the way, if you're here and you're new to the channel, it's super helpful if you hit all those free buttons. All those right there. It helps us out in the algorithm. Very, very helpful. I appreciate for all you guys being on tonight. This is great. This is unprecedented, what we're seeing now. The largest military mobilization in 24 years. Well, they are certainly, Jay, they are making, Iran has made themselves of their own island. There's the Sunni Shia divide. Most 80%, I think the number is 80% of Muslims in the world are Sunni, and they are Shia inside of Iran. I'm pretty sure that's right. Let me double check that one. I forget the Sunni Shia, which country is which. Most of the developed world is Sunni. And I think 80% of all Muslims are Sunni, but Shia is what Iran is. And they're no friends to one another. There's like sectarian violence in Islam it's been going on forever and ever. And we had, if I remember correctly, I think in Iraq, we had situations where Al-Qaeda, who is Sunni, and it was a militia, it was the Jaish al-Mahdi, but they were, I think because they were Shia. Jaish al-Mahdi was Shia. And Al-Qaeda was operating in parts of Iraq, and they were going in and just taking them out. Really wild stuff. Need to Ben, I'm laughing thinking about it. Let's see. Ben TX, this his Tucker laugh makes. Oh yeah, you guys were talking about Ami. Ami Kozak, isn't that his name? I thought I saw that earlier in the chat. Ami was on Jay Witt's podcast, and it was hilarious. It was the dude's funny. Well, I say that the conversation was really good, but he did an impression for Jay Witt of Candace. It was pretty funny. Let's see. I wonder if Tucker and Candace at some point will be back in the fold because Islam countries are fighting Iran. No, I think somebody had said this, that Tucker made a comment that Trump was evil for what he was doing. It's only reshaped the lives of a million people in that whole region of the world. Junior, welcome back, my friend. Good to see you. TFCS says they have a plan. I hope you're right. I do. I hope you're right. Let's see. And again, this comes back to it. I trust him. I do. I trust Donald Trump. He's not going to go into something half-cocked. Oh, I didn't play this one. I'm glad you mentioned the protests. So the protests were in, let me find this here. These were in Los Angeles, and they were pro-Iranian protests. CNN, hang on, let me find it here. Trump speech, people, Piers Morgan. Oh, I skipped that one. Golly. Hang on, I'm going to find this because it was really, I need to get better about my notes. Trump, Massey, MTG, Charlie Kirk. Well, here's the video of the Taliban saying that you're not supposed to support Iran. There you go. I'll play that one while I find the one. Oh, I know I had it in here. Oh, it's driving me nuts, guys. Because now that I'm looking for it, I'm like, I got to find it. Okay, good grief. CNN, because I grabbed it because it was CNN saying, well, we have to admit, people here are very happy about what's going on. Well, maybe I didn't grab it. Oh, I hate silence. You guys probably know this. I hate sitting here while it's being quiet because I'm in a room by myself and I'm not hearing anything. And I'm like, I'm supposed to be talking. I don't want you guys to hear silence either. Where was it? Milo, dadgummit. Well, maybe I didn't grab it. Guys. Oh, wait, here. Oh, yeah, here's the one. This is the one. Golly. Got it. Let's play this one.
East, the largest Iranian populations outside of the Middle East.
Oh, X-Player. Why are you the way you are? Dadgummit. Let's try it again.
Outside of the Middle East, you see the gathering there behind her. Julia, how is the Iranian community responding?
Well, this gathering has only grown, Jessica, over the past few hours, since we've gotten here. It has amassed a large number of people, and the celebration is striking. We got here just moments after initial reports, initial rumors of the death of Ayatollah Khamenei had just started to trickle from Iran to this diaspora community, and people were jumping in excitement, hugging each other, crying, saying that basically they've been waiting 47 years for this very day, Jessica. It is the reason so many of them have come out here today. I want you to hear from one of them specifically, his thoughts right after learning that the supreme leader of Iran was dead.
When is the last time you saw people in Israel and Iran dancing on the streets in excitement? And when is the last time you've ever heard of a country coming out and dancing because they're excited that foreign powers are attacking them?
Now, the name of Reza Pahlavi has been at the tip of people's tongues here, Jessica. So these are very much people who are pro-Shah. They want to see a leadership emerge from Reza Pahlavi. They're calling for him to take over the reins. And their hope, they've told me, is that he would then lead a temporary government and hold elections in Iran, hold a referendum in Iran so that the people could decide what would come next for their nation.
Yeah, and so many Iranian people hoping for a regime change and that they can take back their government. A lot of questions about how that will happen, if it can happen. Julia Vargas Jones, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's broken out around Iran, it's around the U.S., Iranian. See, there's a very strong national identity. I can only attest to the few people that I watch online who talk about it, but the national identity, of being Iranian it's a very strong national identity. This is interesting. We watch YouTube. You said Blood Moon. My wife told me about this. My wife, she said Blood Moon and Purim is March 2nd through the 23rd. We need to keep our heads on a swivel for uprisings in America, especially the 10 major cities. Talking about I guess biblical prophecy goes around some of these things. Honestly, I don't follow a lot of the eschatological, some of it, but people have traced that to like big world events and that sort of thing, big catastrophes. Let's see. What a glorious day for the people of Iran. They are free again. Let's see here. I don't even know what that is. What is that? Purim? Purim? Oh, okay. That's Hebrew Jewish holiday that commemorates saving the Jewish people by Queen Esther from annihilation at the hands. Interesting. Oh, wow. Okay. You just came from so James Klug's live stream. He was in LA interviewing people. That's wild. They want it. This is why people escape, and there's, weeping and crying and joy and all these things. They don't take gun training courses. I know Eric Swalm posted about these. Okay, I'll have to check that out as well. I don't know who that is. Eric Schwalm. See, this is why it's great having people on the stream. You guys give me names of people to go and follow where I can get additional data. I like it. I follow so many people. And let me find this. Eric, let me pull it back up again here. ERICSCHWA. Oh, gosh, it's not even typing here. ERICSCHWALM. Eric Schwalm. Who in the world is that? Oh, former Green Beret guy. Whenever they would be in a new parking lot in Iran, don't touch our boats. We really, yeah. Well, this is the other. So the Strait of Hormuz, people were saying Iran was. I say people. There were individuals saying that the Strait of Hormuz was trying to be blocked, or that Iran was trying to block the Strait of Hormuz, and that was a point a lot of people make, valid point that people make. So much of, and let me pull it up on a map here real quick. So much of the oil from the Middle East comes through the Strait of Hormuz. It's a critical choke point when it comes to sea travel. Let's go to maps.google.com. Here we go. Come on. I made the mistake of not connecting my hardline internet tonight, and so hopefully I don't lose the, let's see. Israel, we'll zoom out here. Let's blow this up a bit. Here we go. All right. So over here, the Gulf of Oman, and then this right here is the Strait of Hormuz. And if you look at it, all of these here on the peninsula, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, Saudi Arabia, everybody ships their oil, comes through here, pops out, and it is able to get into the Arabian Sea and the Indian Ocean, and you can ship it around the world. This is such a critical choke point because if you're able to control this, you can control a massive amount of oil coming out of the Middle East. And the fear was that Iran, who has I guess a fairly strong Navy. I haven't looked into all the assets that their Navy has to offer, but they have been trying to control this. The likelihood, I don't think that's the case right now, but some of the same folks like the MTGs and other naysayers, the Black Pillars are saying, hey, they're trying to block the Strait of Hormuz. Your gas prices are going up. There you go. That's what you voted for. Voted for Donald Trump. Your gas prices are going to go up. It's the small little drips, even though it's not true, even though it hasn't happened yet. There haven't been reports of that yet, at least not that I've seen, that they control the Strait of Hormuz. It's little seeds that they're planting in people's minds to turn them against Donald Trump. They can use possibilities, pitch them as fact. People believe them because they're coming from what they think is a reputable source, and it's little seeds that they're planting, and we have to avoid that. That's why when somebody says something, I never take it at face value. Rarely take it at face value. Some people, I guess I kind of do sometimes. It really depends on the source. But if it's a partisan source, I'm like, let me think about that. I don't know if that's it. Let me see. Haverwatch Junior Culture. I just want to say, a daughter of a Marine that gave his life, wife of a sailor for 20 years, and mother of active duty, anybody rooting against America during the war should be investigated. It's a strong I would push back on that. I would say that if you're rooting against it, that's freedom of speech. You're able to do that. You can root against the U.S. or you can root against I say rooting against it. You can have opposition to the war. But when you're saying that, you could basically say whatever you want. I guess is the way to put it. As long as you're not calling to violence. I think that your loyalty to America, in my mind, you say that Candace Owens saying that you're working for the IDF, that's a horribly skewed worldview. You're more than welcome to hold that opinion, but I don't take that strong of a stance. I'm a free speech absolutist. So let's see. When Trump said, "Take back your country, this may be your only chance," do you think he meant two things? Like me be impeached? Aha. No, I think that people beyond him, because there's only one Donald Trump. We're never going to repeat Donald Trump. That's my thought, is that this is your one opportunity. He is mobilized at a key time when they are weak, when Iran is in a weakened state. They have people that have been protesting in the streets. They've just killed 35,000 of their own citizens. There's popular support to get rid of them. And then he says, all right, well, I'm going to take this risk, and I'm going to move the U.S. military, knowing he's going to get opposition from the Democrats, from Thomas Massey, from Ro Khanna, all these Rand Paul is another one. He knew he was going to get pushback, and it's not political suicide necessarily, but getting in here, doing this now. This is the conversation I was having with my wife today. She said, "What do you think about this? And is this popular?" And I said, "No, it's actually not right now. With the American people, it's not very popular. But for Donald Trump to get this done now, for the military to get this done now, you get somebody else in there. If that is the Crown Prince, if he comes in and is able to start rebuilding and revitalizing Iran, the old regime, the IRGC, and all these people are flushed of all the crazies. And then you can start establishing some stability, and you've got a leader in Iran that is saying, no, we're glad this happened. 80% of the people are glad that this happened. And you get all that done before the midterms, that should be the best case scenario in my mind. If we're embroiled in the middle of all this conflict coming around the midterms, we're done for. So it's risky to do it. And it's not going to be, I don't think it'll be politically possible in the future. Like I say, we're only going to get one Donald Trump. We're never going to have another. I'm not against free speech. I'm not calling for it. I'm talking about money behind it, investigated. No, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think that I think there is money being pumped into a lot of these folks. Yeah, there's a money component to it, but I also think that there's just being a naysayer for naysayer's sake. I just think there's nihilists too. I think there's some of that as well. A lot of the people online that are pushing back against it, I mean, they are, good gracious, some of them are being paid. A lot of it is going to be bot farming and that sort of thing. But the bigger names, I think it's just an ideological difference. So I know I was talking about Gary having, Goldie is amazing as well as Susie. No one does. I don't know, popped up. Let's see. DX Miller. Let's see. Yes, Goldie, great TV show. Iran really stepped in its own when they closed the Strait of. So did they actually close it? I didn't see that. I didn't see that the Strait of Hormuz had actually been closed. Let's see if we can find it here. Strait of Hormuz. All eyes are on the Strait of Hormuz, China being the number one receipt of Iranian oil. China could come back in. I heard you see like they did the Taliban. Those oil flows are absolutely massive and critical to China. This risks a wider regional war. They're questioning it, but so now I did hear that they had turned some ships around. I did hear that, but I don't think that has persisted. Let me see. I could be wrong. This year's Israel and America have launched missiles in Iran. It's believed that Iran will try and block the Strait of Hormuz and Gulf of Oman. Let's see. If you're not watching Al Jazeera Arabic covers the ongoing war in Iran, this is a few seconds. Hormuz. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything that confirms it. I could be, that's something we can watch over the next 24 hours. If that does happen, the U.S. will, I'm almost certain, take action to stop that quick, fast, and in a hurry. Naval has its eyes on Iran. P-8 spotted in Strait of Hormuz. P-8 Poseidon, one of America's top surveillance. Here we go. This is from Mario Nafal. And this was posted. Oh, wait, that's old. That's an old post. Yeah, I'm not seeing any updated stuff. Let's see. Strait of Hormuz closed. See, I have to now I've got it. Now you've got me live fact checking myself, which is good. It's not physically blocked. Iran delivery Strait Guard tells ship passage. Yeah. Okay. Again, I'll do some more research, and if I can find it, guys, I will let you know. I'll probably post it on X if I can find it. So go follow me over on X if you haven't, if you aren't doing so. I'll do some research and see if I can find it. I did hear the reports that they had turned the ship around, but I don't know that they've stopped it altogether. They're trying to block the strait. They will lose. There you go. That's a good point, Heather. You're right on the money. No, we have not. So the latest report was that there have been no deaths so far. No U.S. service personnel have died so far. And the initial strike, the one that I can't remember if I played it or not, the one on the Fifth Fleet. Let me play that. Let me find that clip for you guys. Fifth Fleet. It was really wild. They got this was. Here we go. Let's pull this one up. So this was the strike. This was much earlier today. One of their initial retaliatory strikes was hitting the Fifth Fleet headquarters. There's a second video that there's a large radar dome that they have outside of the headquarters, and there was clear footage of one of the drones coming in and impacting on that radar dome. Let me see if I can find that clip as well. So they knew what they were going for. The headquarters was the initial report that the Iranians were able to strike the specific headquarters building. I have not seen confirmation of that. We'll find out more, but this was post-attack. This was the smoke billowing from the Fifth Fleet headquarters. So major attack. I mean, this was no joke. There's another video of a soldier. I couldn't pull all of them, but there was a soldier who was in one of the apartments, or I guess it was a barracks, but they're very nice barracks. And he was watching, and he was laughing and cussing as soldiers do. He was maybe a seaman. I don't know if he was a seaman, an airman, a Marine, whatever. But he was filming, and he was laughing. Then all of a sudden, one of the rockets gets through the air defenses. And the concern that we talked about yesterday, which has been reiterated by, Alex Jones is the one who brought it up, and it was a valid point, that China has put a lot of effort into hypersonic missile technology. And will those hypersonic missiles be, if they have been sold to Iran, will Iran, I guess, I don't know the right pronunciation. I'll keep saying it like an East Tennessean. But if Iran is able to get those close enough to the ships to deploy them to a U.S. ship, you get into a much, much, much worse situation, because the hypersonic missiles are, from what I know of them, just from open source data, very, very high risk. And then you end up in a Pearl Harbor type situation. Not that it's on our turf, but it's, off the coast of Iran, they're sinking a ship. Then we're most definitely getting into a much larger conflict. Whether that'll happen, I don't know. But it would behoove China to do that. I mean, from their perspective, it's a test bed against U.S. technology. Are their hypersonic missiles going to be effective? And, you know, there's no opportunity for Iran to win this thing. I mean, that's it. The PR battle over the long term. That's the other thing. The General Kane he came out on Fox News today and said that this is not going to be a few days. This is weeks. This is going to be weeks and weeks of strikes, or at least a week, I think he said. So it's going to go over the long term. And what we have to prepare for is like any conflict. There's going to be collateral damage. No matter how hard you try, no matter how accurate your targeting is, there's going to be some collateral damage. And this is, especially after all the coverage of the Israel-Gaza conflict, the American people don't have the stomach for that sort of thing. And we did it. Every civilized military does it. They take whatever precautions they can to try and avoid it, but it is impossible to avoid collateral damage in any type of conflict. It's not possible. People have a video game understanding of how this stuff happens. They think that launching cruise missiles is you pop a button and say, go hit this building, and there's more to it than that. There's collateral damage estimates and assessments that are being done on a loop. It's you're estimating, you're trying to figure out what the collateral damage is before you strike, and then you're trying to confirm what the collateral damage is or figure out what the collateral damage is after you strike. Like Intel drives all of it, and you're constantly reassessing, trying to figure it out. But the American people don't have the stomach for it. They really don't. Let me get back to some more comments here. What a great chat I've got. I think my fear surrounding. I think so much of Gaza was propaganda, and my fear surrounding this. Yeah, there was a lot that I've talked about this ad nauseum, that we know of the 60,000, 50,000. If you call it 50,000 or 60,000, whatever the number, 50,000. We'll go with the low number. If it's 50,000 and they say that 20,000 combatants were included in that 50,000, the source of the data is bad. The source of the data is coming from the Gaza Health Ministry, which is Hamas. Then you've got the number of combatants. Then they say the number of children. Even with the number of combatants is accurate, it is still a very low number for most conflicts like that, for most urban conflicts. It's still a low number. If it's 2 to 1, that's very low. It's lower than most. There was 500,000 in Iraq in our conflict. So that number was low. We also get the propaganda, the crisis actors that are making the posts on social media. That is a component of it, and the whole message gets skewed. This won't be any different. However, 80% of the people, if those percentages are correct, and 80% of the people actually hate the Ayatollah and are glad that he's gone, the propaganda isn't going to be. It's going to be the inverse, I think. Let's see. If you give me an inch, if you give them an inch, they will take a mile. Yep. That's a fact. Let's see. Everything come out of Gaza was, there you go. A lot of it was. Well, and you guys, we've talked about this on this channel. How anybody who's ever been in a had a rocket fired at them knows you don't know where it's going to land. But interestingly enough, they've got 4K footage showing exactly where it was going to land. Odd that they would know exactly which building is going to get hit. Yeah, that was the case in Gaza. Let's see. Iran has sent missiles or rocket strikes to multiple countries, and many did land, causing damage. And so they're not sure how many. I was just looking at military casualties, U.S. military personnel, but I'm sure there have been casualties in other countries. There undoubtedly have been casualties. And this is another component of this. The fact that they went on their initial strike was to civilian establishments. So I think it was Dubai, hotel rocketed. I think it was Dubai. Let me double check. Iran attacks. Let me see if I can just find it, because I was scrolling through and I just saw it was like hotel after hotel, you know, and apartment buildings, all this stuff. It's just indiscriminate, absolutely indiscriminate. Iran attacks hotel. Where was it? Okay, here was one. Yeah. So this one was in at Iftar. Yeah, this is the one that was played on a loop. Where is Iftar? Oh, Iftar is that's not a place. That's one of the fast. Let's see, on the Palm. Oh, so this would have been, is the Palm in Dubai? Yeah, the Palm's in Dubai. That's the island complex that they have that's shaped like a palm tree. And we have to consider it. Another thing, if you want prayer requests for people, pray for the people that are stranded in some of these other places. You know, I showed it yesterday. Mike Huckabee and all the U.S. officials telling everybody in Israel, get out if you can. People were, I'm sure, trying to get out of some of those neighboring countries. Although you watched today, I saw a video of a kid it was probably Dubai, looking up at the sky, and a rocket was being shot out of the sky. He's there in swim trunks, and there's, you know, girls hanging out in bikinis, and everybody's doing their thing, enjoying Dubai, and he's pointing his cell phone up and capturing air defenses shooting rockets out of the sky. Yes, there were sirens in Oman. I heard that as well. Yep. Just have a dream about Candace Owens. Let's see. So many comments. Iran people get freedom of speech. Now they get the right. A transition plan has been in place for many years. Most people. So a transition plan has been for Iran has been in place for years. Most people haven't paid attention. Yeah, we've had transition plans though for every one of the regime changes we've done. We have a plan for it. Will this one work? I think that because of the popularity, and this is the other piece of it. There's still the generation that remembers the days of, you know, the Shah. They remember the pre-revolution. Even Patrick Bet-David was talking about it. He was 10 years old when all that popped off and his family left. There's people that have recent memory of a world before, before the Ayatollah and before what they've got now. And that works to the favor of the Iranian people. The quicker it happens, obviously, the better. That's always the case. They hit a beautiful hotel or famous building in Dubai. Yeah. You have a dream. I don't think about... let's see. Yeah, Tucker was interestingly, he wasn't in his house in Qatar, was he? When all this was going on. Did he ever actually buy a house in Qatar? You guys can let me know. I don't know if he actually did or not. Let's see if I missed anything up here. So the Queen Esther Bible. Let's see. Okay. I think I've got to. I apologize if I didn't get to enough of the comments. Gosh, give the people hating on Trump right now, trying to set people free so God can come back to Iran and other Muslim countries. There you go. God should give the people hating on Trump right now, trying to set people free so God can come back to Iran and other Muslim countries, give the haters a job or Damascus Road experience. Yeah, there's This is, I say this all the time. Worldview, it used to be politics downstream from culture. Culture is downstream from worldview. The worldview for most of America used to be Christian, or at least in principle used to be Christian. And Christianity has been co-opted by so many people. And they say, I'm a God-fearing person. I love God. God is the most important thing. God this, God that, God this, God that. But then you follow their ideology, and you follow, people like Stu Peters or Milo Yiannopoulos or whatever. They do it. I'm going to pull back up their posts. These people here, you can claim it, but that doesn't mean that you are you ain't living it. You claim it, but you ain't living it. So you're a hypocrite at that point. And to say that we believe a violent theocracy who seeks to destroy Israel and Christians around the world should get a bomb, and you would say, well, why do you think that you should have a bomb? Well, we know exactly why. So that they could use it against Israel. When your ideology takes you to that level of anti-Semitism, you can just go ahead and you need to pick up your Bible, but you certainly stop telling me that it tells you this. Don't try to make that argument. That's appealing to people that say that they're, it's appealing to Christians to try to build an audience. You ain't living it. You ain't talking it. You follow it all the way to anti-Semitism, and look, you're wrong. You're wrong, and you can follow like all these people. You whether this is why I don't like Nick Fuentes. I know some people say that Nick Fuentes has his positive attributes. I say no. Nick Fuentes, if you follow it to its last full measure of devotion, go back to what he has said in the past. Are you an anti-Semite, and then all of a sudden you're not? Are you supportive of Hitler and Stalin, then all of a sudden you're not? Well, at that point you're a grifter, you're a liar. But you follow these ideologies, and you follow somebody's worldview all the way to its final position. And if that final position leads you to anti-Semitism, authoritarianism, subversion of people, chanting that or hollering on your YouTube channel that the 80% of people who don't like being oppressed by a theocratic dictatorship, Muslim dictatorship, that they're the traitors to their country, I'm sorry, you're wrong. Like I ain't listening to you, and I'm not going to take you seriously. There's no way on God's green earth that I'm going to take you seriously. Because how do you know? 1 minute you've got one opinion, the next minute you've got another. There's certain, people can change their minds. I have on certain things, but not that far, not that level of not that level. No. Okay, let's see. More chats. Do I have any more? I'm going longer than I usually do. You guys know I try to stick to like an hour. But this is a big deal. No, but I will tell you, he makes a lot of posts about it, or some. David Woodward, they are great. I really like them. I really, really like them. They're unapologetic about everything, and they don't censor. They go at it full bore. I like both of them. Yeah, they are the duo of the century. Oh yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. I have heard, I think it was Josh Howerton made this same argument. Josh Howerton is a pastor who made the same argument that, Satan comes as a messenger of light, and that's how a lot of the words were revealed to Muhammad. You are not wrong. Yeah, AP is the most humble. Yes. Yeah, today is special. This is why I'm going longer. You are right. This is why I'm going longer today. This is a much bigger deal. Tina. Well, that's certainly what they call us. At least that's what the Ayatollah called us. We can say that in the past tense now. Can safely put that in the past tense. Let's see. I can tell the difference between MS Now and Nick. That's funny. This is true. Let's see. DC want to vote against, let's see, the 1947 Iranians had no freedom to their beliefs. They had to take the Muslim religion, and that's coming to America now. It is. This is the look. I did to refresh my memory, all the countries that used to be Christian, and that was most of those Middle Eastern countries over there used to be Christian. You know, whether it was Iraq and Syria, Egypt, you know, the Coptics out of Egypt, and all over the Middle East. It does spread. Islam spreads. We are in population decline in the U.S. It's happening in the U.K. It's happening in France. We become these opulent societies, and we stop having kids, and we bring in fifth wave, sixth wave feminism wherever it is now, where the women that follow that stuff say that men are evil, men are terrible, and all the problems in the world are because of men, and then they don't marry them, and then we don't have kids, and then we go to population decline. Meanwhile, we open up our borders and we let all these people across, and they're having kids. They're having kids left and right. So our 1.9 replacement rate versus their 4, yeah, they're eventually going to take over. It's crazy. The cameraman crash out when Raymond Ibrahim was on. I did not see that one. I don't know who that is. People have always tried to co-opt Christianity. Read the Bible. That's where the phrase wolves in sheep clothing originated. It's also why we did not have a Catholic president for 180 plus years. Yeah, you'd have to explain to me the last part, but wolves in sheep clothing, yeah. Well, and there will be false prophets. You know, there's always going to be false prophetic people. I still believe when it comes to, Candace Owens and other people that it's a Scientology thing. You know, I think it was Jay Witt that told me that when we were talking about it, or I heard him say it on his podcast. That I think he and I discussed it. Anyway, it was this. You know, she doesn't believe in. It's all about the spirit world. It's about the my feelings and my vibes and things coming to you in dreams. It's all about the mystic. It's all about that. That's not a. You know, I'm sure the Lord can present himself, or he has presented himself to people in dreams. But a lot of her, the way that she approaches it is very mystic. And some people say that it's the Scientology piece of it. That's really what she believes. Okay, I will have to, here, I'll bring him up. I don't know who Raymond Ibrahim. Maybe I do know who that is. Let me see. Raymond. Oh, I know who Raymond Ibrahim is. Yeah. I have seen this guy. This is his website. Yeah. Raymond Ibrahim. He is good. I didn't know the name. I've watched him on some podcasts. So, yeah, you're right. I've watched him on several podcasts. He's a very, very smart guy. And he knows his history. He knows, boy, he's sharp. He is very sharp. Yes, talking about Candace. She sounds very new age. I think that's what it is. Yeah. Coptic Christian. Okay. The thing I'm going to wrap around my head is the only thing don't stop around my head is a ponytail or a hair clip. That's funny. Boy, that's true. My goodness, that's facts right there. Candace worships Candace. The narcissism is so real. It is so real. You know, there is a difference. People say Trump is a narcissist. I don't see Trump as a narcissist. I see him as having a big ego. There's a difference between actual narcissism and somebody just having a big ego and being overly confident. Okay. All right, guys. I think I have come. Most of the pro-Palestinian people are crazy to me. Candace Chink, Hassan Tucker. Oh, you just brought up something great. So the Hassan connection. Did you guys see the chat? There was I grabbed. I'm going to show you this real quick, and then I'm going to end the stream because I've gone for almost 2 hours, which is atypical for me. There was a chat. Let me see if I can pull the screenshot up. And I was going to show it yesterday. I didn't. And let me get the clip here. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, maybe I didn't. Let me see if it's over here on my desktop. They were talking about Candace Owens' live chat. And her live chat, when I saw it, I was like, I screenshot it because I was watching her live. I turned on her live stream. And my head went a little sideways. And I thought, this looks very, very, very strange. Did I not? Oh, wait, here it is. Here it is. I got it right here. Let me clean up my desktop here. So I pulled up her chat. And I thought, I go to live streams on a regular basis. I've never seen a chat like this. And what is funny, let me pull this up here. This was her chat. And I thought, who's doing that? Look, you guys, I know I cross over several other channels, the guys I've worked with, like Jay Witt and Gary at Paramount Tactical, other places that I communicate with people. The chat is people saying things. This was her chat. And I thought, this is weird. Then somebody made a video or saw a video of Hassan Piker. So Hassan, let me see if I can find his clip. He said, "Why is my chat in Candace Owens' live stream?" And he was pissed off about it. Hassan Piker, Candace chat. This was the funny thing was, it's like, yeah, you're both botted. That's what it is. It's bots. And Hassan Piker on Twitch calls for right-wingers to be, let's see. That's not it. Well, I can't find the video. Either way, Hassan was going on saying, she's got my chat. Why does Candace Owens have my chat? And I thought, this is the perfect example. They're botted. Like it's just going nuts. And it's all these just random, 100 emojis and all this nonsense. It's like, you're being propped up, people. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it is. And the people saying stuff, you were correct, but there's so much of it is just the wild emojis. And it was mirroring, it was almost identical to what was coming through Candace's chat. It was wild. Maybe because you have the same fans. Yeah, there you go. Oh, did he? Gary did? Let me see if that is. That would be fantastic. Let me pull him up. Whoa. I'm not going to play it because of the Ryan Mata. You guys need to go check out Gary's over if you haven't looked at it today at Paramount Tactical. He is talking about he's saying, let's go Iran. They just hit Tel Aviv. This was Ryan Mata posted this. He's chanting and cheering because Iran hit Tel Aviv.
Iran just hit Tel
Well, these people are disgusting. Language warning, guys.
Aviv, that's what I'm fucking talking about. So April Silverman says, breaking, an Iranian missile has reportedly just hit Tel Aviv, Israel. She says, pray. So far, 7 injured in the center, 1 in moderate condition, and 6 slightly wounded. Pray for who? We're praying for Iran. I don't know about you guys, but check this out.
Regime preservation. Could you get a more pragmatic figure presiding over this regime? Sure.
Aaron, I just want to break in for a moment because we're looking at live pictures in the air over Tel Aviv, and
if our politicians think that because they sent us, our sons and daughters, over into Israel, that we're gonna now to support Israel? No, we're gonna continue to support Iran, and we're gonna tell our boys, our brothers and sisters to come home, resign, get the hell out of there. You don't owe this government a gosh damn thing.
How do these people sleep at night? I would just love to know. You know the difference? Donald Trump, our U.S. military, they're striking military targets. Do you know what Iran's striking? Civilians. You cheer for that? You're on the wrong side of history, my friend. Wow. The moral bankruptcy of these people is astonishing. It is astonishing to me. How in the world do they sleep at night? Wow. Wow. Okay, well I couldn't find the one about the chat, but anyway, you guys get the idea. All right, I'm going to double check the comments here, and then I'm probably going to sign off and go hang with my wife. Let's see. Yes, yeah, exactly. Who is? Yeah. There you go. Evil regime ending the lives, tens of thousands of them. You are whooping and hollering, chanting and cheering for a regime that killed tens of thousands of its own citizens for protesting. You're on the wrong side of history, my friend. They are on, oh, wow. Sin, there you go. Okay, one more. Tina, you hit me with another good one. Sin makes you stupid. You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Okay, guys, thank you all so much for hanging in here with me. I truly appreciate it. If you're new here and you haven't done so, hit all those free buttons down below. Share this content. Share it over on X. Share it wherever you got social media content. You guys are great. I'm appreciative for y'all hanging with me for a longer than usual live stream. This is unprecedented stuff. I'll be bringing you more as I can. Stay safe. God bless you. God bless America. Pray for all those soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, anybody who's in harm's way. We've got folks all over the world, and I love them. I feel for them. I'm thankful for them. I'm thankful for the sacrifice that they make. And Lord, please keep them safe. So, guys, have a wonderful, wonderful, what is this? It's Saturday night. God bless, guys.